How's it going, guys? Hope you had a good week. So today's I was deadlifting, I believe, 195 kilos. Did that for 5 sets here, so that went really nicely. Overall, this has been a very busy week, but I managed to get a few good training sessions in, and I really enjoyed it. So, as you can see from this, my 5 sets of 3 went really well for the deadlifts. I managed to pull them with decent form, I think. And yeah, it was, of course, very taxing at the end, but it was just really nice to get that done with. I also did a lot of back accessories with that, so that was also really good. I was quite happy with that. Unfortunately, the recording failed for the third set of the sets of 20, but believe me, I did do them. My thumb kind of got a hole in it and started bleeding, so that can testify to that. To be honest, the 5 sets of triples, even though I anticipated they would be hard, at the end of the day, I think the sets of 20 actually felt a lot harder and a lot more challenging, so that was the case there. And you see my form is decent, but I was trying to just brush through them because I was really getting taxed by these sets. And of course, afterwards I did my usual superset between weighted hyperextensions and Romanian deadlifts, but with, I believe, I did that with 60 kilos, but of course I'm so taxed that the weight doesn't really matter at the end of it, so that's what caused me just to be fatigued there. And then in addition to that, I did some extra back work, like some pullovers and stuff for my rear delts as well, so that went okay. And apart from that, this week it's gone really well. And I believe, so I deadlifted, this is powerlifting week, so it's 5 days I'm working out, and then I have 2 days off on the weekend, which is now. So I start off with my heaviest deadlift day on Tuesday, I believe. Yep. And then on Wednesday, I will do some Sumo deadlifts for a set of 5x5. And that went really well. Well, it usually goes well, but this week actually my legs felt really sore. Despite warming up with some nice lightweight squats and everything, feeling good going into it, my legs were just shaky and unstable during that day, so I don't know what that was, but I think it was just generally increasing the deadlift volume is what caused this. So the Zuma deadlifts, out of all the deadlifts I did throughout the week, was what felt the worst. Nonetheless, I managed to come back on Friday, even after a heavy leg day, and do 4 sets of 8 with a regular deadlift, and they've never felt so easy. You'll see that at the end of this video that I just managed to get them done really easily. Kind of felt like nothing. I didn't really have to take a break between. I think I did for the last set just to make sure my form was perfect, but to be honest, I could have done all sets of 8 with no break in between, so that was really nice. Good to see that I'm improving. I think everything's on track. The only factor that's coming up is just time, so I just have to allow my strength to go up throughout over time, just by being consistent. And I think in general that's the best way to train for strength, is not always to max out and go crazy, but just to try and keep it consistent. And I was very happy this week because I actually capped the top of my squat weight, so I'm squatted 140 for my sets, my triples. I believe this was for slow negatives. So basically how my squat works is that if I go too heavy, it'll kind of impede my deadlift. So what I want to do is I've kind of gently increased the weight until 140. I've reached 140 this week, which is awesome, but I'm not going to go any higher. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the time under tension. So what I do for my heavy sets will either be a paused or a slow eccentric. And I'll just lengthen that pause or lengthen that slow eccentric for those triples. Ideally, by the end of the year, I'd like to have a pause squat triple for 10 seconds paused with 140 kilos with really good form. That's kind of my goal. And same thing with a slow negative, so 10 seconds on the way down, and that for a triple as well. I think it would be really good. But that'll take a while, because right now I'm at 3 seconds of a pause and 3 seconds of a slow negative. So in that case, yeah, so some work needs to be done. And also bench press also has been going well, but I can keep improving that, because that really doesn't factor into my deadlift at all. So I'm trying. I'm generally trying to I can keep pushing the bench up if I want to, and that's generally what I plan to do. So far I think that bench press can go up really nicely, but in general I don't really mind if it gets stagnant or not. Basically, at the end of the day, the deadlift is the main focus. So what I want to do is probably increase my back volume just a little bit and see where that goes from there. But I will only do that if I start to stagnate, because right now either the weight's going up with the deadlift, or the form's getting better. And this week, and I believe the next week as well, hopefully the form is what I'm looking at to generally improve on. So I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of this video. Generally, I've been very happy with the progress. Next week will just be, I believe, a heavy set of 3x3 and then some deficits, so nothing too crazy regarding deadlifts. But I'll be working out 6 days during the week, so I can't really go too crazy in the volume, but hopefully get some good back volume. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in a minute.
Sitting in the dark, I can't forget. Even now I realize the time will never get. Another story of the bitter pills of fate. I can't go back again, I can't go back again. But you asked me to love you when I did, trading my emotions for a contract to commit. And when I got away, I only got so far. The other me is dead.